I don't care about this fucking stupid team.
Welcome, everyone, to the Puckin' Sports Network. And today we're talking NHL. The biggest news, Bo Horvat is traded from the Vancouver Canucks to the New York Islanders for a package that includes a first-round pick that is protected in this year's draft. I'm going to mispronounce his name, Otto Ratti.
Nope.
And, no, got it totally wrong. And Anthony Beauvillier. Frank, you can correct me because I have no idea how to say that name.
He actually came out today and specifically to make sure everybody knew exactly. It's written Ratti, but he wants to pronounce Atu Ratu.
Atu Ratu.
Ooh, nice
Me
little.
scusi, my bad.
Yes.
You want to we can start from the beginning again and redo this if you'd like. No? Atu Ratu. Anyways.
Ratu.
We've got our very own Bobby Bottles, who happens to be a Vancouver Canucks fan. I don't know why, but he is. And we're going to get a firsthand, what's the word I'm looking for? Analysis of this trade. So, the NHL trade market has been in a total freeze because they have this hard cap and it sucks and there's no player movement. And finally, about a month before the trade deadline, the Canucks kind of set the market as they trade Bo Horvat, who was heavily coveted by a bunch of teams, to the New York Islanders. Did it surprise you to see that the Islanders were the team that ended up getting Horvat? Because for me, definitely it was. And I'll explain in a second why, but you guys can go ahead.
Thinking about it?
I want to do I want to do like a meme for my reaction to the trade.
And which meme would this be? You got to think about it.
That's it. That's it.
No,
That's it. It was just
I know which one, Rob. The gif of the Jacksonville Jaguars guy in the stands going.
Like this is my react. No, I don't know.
The timing for me is odd.
From the Canucks perspective or the Islanders?
From the Canucks perspective, if I'm the Islanders, I can't score. Yeah. Like they have so much. This is like for the Islanders. This is like it addresses essentially what they need. They had nothing behind Barzal, and now you can play both of them on the power play, and like it's good for them. But the timing for me for Vancouver is like, it's end of January, okay, right before the All-Star break. You have the best player at the deadline, essentially having a career year in goals. It's out there in terms of what you want, or presumably what the return you're asking for, and you jump the gun. There's sources that I'm reading saying they didn't even shop the offer. It was something that they liked. They're in love with the Atu Ratu, apparently. I know he was Islanders' top prospect, which I think they rank in the bottom 3 of prospect pools in the league.
That's not saying much, yeah.
Okay, they got a first round pick, but that was a given. Any team you're going to get that from, it's a given, and it's a protected pick, which is smart on Lou's part, but it goes unprotected to the following year, which I get it. But the original ask from the Canucks, they wanted a young, developmental top 6 upside centerman. Beauvillier is not a centerman. He's we got a 40, 50-point winger who's having a really down year this year, who's 1 year away from UFA. He's probably going to walk, right? Unless they trade him at next year's deadline. I don't understand it from the Canucks. I really don't. I honestly thought they could have got a better package, maybe better quality, maybe not another piece, because sometimes it's just another throw-in. But what about the quality of the pick you could have got? You know what I mean? And this is all assuming that Horvat signs with the Islanders, which hasn't happened yet. You have to think it's Lou. It will happen. He keeps things pretty silent. But usually you get to talk extension with the player, which just adds to the value of the deal. But why not wait, a week or two before the deadline? What does Vancouver have to lose here? That's the only thing that really puzzles me.
The timing of it, to be honest, I question the timing of it more from the Islanders. From Vancouver, they get worse quicker. and it makes them lose more games quicker, so they can slide closer to the draft lottery, I guess. And they set a price. They liked Atu Ratu. They got him in the deal, and they made the deal. I don't get it from the Islanders' perspective. They sit currently in 10th place, and I'll be the first to admit I haven't watched a ton of Islanders games this year, but from the games that I have watched, this is not a good hockey team. They're terrible. They're slow. They look old, and Bo Horvat doesn't change any of that. He makes them a little bit better, but I'm not sure he even makes them a playoff team yet. They got to jump over a few teams. Does Bo Horvat automatically make them a playoff team? They could potentially miss the playoffs and not sign Horvat. And that is a disaster of a deal. And if I'm Horvat, why am I in a rush to sign an extension with this team? You're months away from hitting the open market. If I'm him, I'm saying, listen, I'm going to play the free agent market. I'm obviously going to keep you guys in my mind, and it's great that I'm here to experience what this is like, and you'll have first dibs, but I'm hitting the free agent market and seeing what's out there for me. Why would he sign an extension? I think it's so dumb from the Islanders' perspective. But that's just me.
He's going to get paid, Joe. He's going to get paid.
But he's going to get paid anywhere, so why not?
No. What I'm saying is
good.
I think the Islanders are going to overpay unless, well, they got the 8th year now. That's kind of an advantage. But the Islanders, to me, are one of those destinations like in baseball, like the Blue Jays, when they try to attract free agents, the only way they get them is you have to overpay. So I think Horvat's sitting in a pretty good position where he probably gets more money from the Islanders or use that against, going to free agency, say, listen, I can get 9 from, Seattle, but I'll, stay here for the extra year and I'll take 8.5 or something. You know what I mean? So he's clearly in the driver's seat.
Still makes no sense to me. Why not? You're going to get paid regardless. You get to pick the team, though, and the city that you're going to play in.
I think for the first time.
It's a no-brainer for me.
I think for the first time in his tenure, not that I don't know if he really cares about it, but I think Lou's definitely on the hot seat. If they don't make the playoffs, he's done. He's done, right? So either you do it now. He's traded the next 4 years of first-round picks since he's been there. So clearly they have no future. So people say, oh, yeah, but they made the semifinals. You want a banner for that, or is that something like big deal?
I still don't know how they made the semifinal. I'm going to be honest.
That
was one of the years was when Montreal made the final. So that goes to show you what kind of year that was.
That was Barry Trotz's fantastic coach. So they all had to buy in to what he was preaching, and he put them in a position to succeed with that roster. That was a lot on Trotz more than it was Lamoriello. But fast forward now, they have no future. They mortgaged it on this deal. So I don't even think they're done. I think they're going to make another deal, to be quite honest with you. I don't think they're stopping at Horvat. They have no choice. They have to leapfrog a lot of teams.
Do you think so? I remember back in 2015, the Jays were like 51-50. Now I'm not comparing the two situations, but there might be some similarities to where you looked at the record and you said, we're better than our record and we need something. And they traded for David Price, and all of a sudden
No, don't buy it. I'm cutting you off. No, they're not better than their record. They have a minus goal differential. They stink. Stop. They're not a good team.
But look at their pieces.
And they're horrible to watch. Oh my God.
They are horrible to watch.
They might be the worst team in the league to watch.
But they have a top 3 goalie. They have.
I'll give him that. He's awesome.
2 fantastic defensemen in Pulock and Dobson.
They're good. I don't know if they're fantastic. They're good. Dobson
is like in the making. He's in the making.
Okay.
And they have Barzal.
McCarr, Noah Dobson. Okay. Sure.
No, but Dobson's going to be a really good defenseman, and Pulock is good. And they got Barzal, and they wanted to add.
You said Barzal twice. After Barzal, who you got?
That's it. Yeah, it's the two of them. So it's Barzal and Horvat now. But I'm sitting there going, what good is that first round pick? That first round pick's not going to play for 4 years. So why not get rid of it and try to add some pieces? Horvat's a nice piece, and this is true. I know he's going to go to free agency, but you always have a slight advantage bringing the guy in before, because you let him see the system and you have you have that extra negotiating time. So is he going to hit free agency? He's probably going to go to free agency, but you have that better chance of retaining him. From the Canucks point of view, because we've talked way too much about the Islanders, let's talk about the Canadian team. I don't know if I don't think they know what the hell they're doing. I don't think they know if they're coming or I said this, I believe it was 2 years ago. I don't think they know what they're doing. And sitting here in Toronto, I watched for years of this team fluttering in the wind with bad management. It's so obvious that this is a problem at the top because they actually have some decent players. There's something wrong at the top. I'm not involved in the organization. I don't have any sources, obviously. There's something wrong at the top of this organization, and it's got to be the owner because they've gone through multiple GMs now, multiple coaches. They've butchered every situation over the last 5 years. It's like my Broncos. Like the last 6 years, it's just been like a debacle after a debacle. The last one was this whole Bruce Boudreau. I was like embarrassed for him and for them. Like I was like blown away. I don't think they know what they're doing, and if you have bad management, you don't overcome that. 99% of the time, you cannot overcome that, and there's obviously something wrong at the top of that organization. JT Miller, I don't get it. Like if it was me,
that was the most puzzling thing.
Resign Horvat and let trade Miller. Like, doesn't that make more sense? Miller is older. He was not brought up through your system.
He had a career year last year. You could have traded him at the deadline. The team that's when his value would have been its highest because the team acquiring him would have had him for 2 playoffs.
So then you have your GM and your president come out and do a like a mid-year press conference, which those are always trouble when you have halfway point press conferences. And the guy comes out and says, well, when I came here, I knew we needed work, but now we need major surgery. Guys are going out. So now you're sitting there telling your players, hey, guys, you're out. So that leaves you at a position of weakness if you're trying to trade your guys. Like you're going to get you're lucky if you get 10 cents on the dollar. You got, and they've come out and identified their core. Who does that on a friggin' press conference? It's Pedersen, Hughes, and Kuzmenko. They just signed another guy for $5 million, right? It's a 2-year deal. By the time they're good, he may even be gone. So why did they make that deal too? Like that one, it was kind of weird. They're not going to be better in 2 years. They're still tearing this down. But you're telling me everybody other than that's available? Okay, well, get on the phone and what do you want for Connor Garland? What do you want for, Thatcher Demko? He's next. You don't trade a franchise goalie. Like it's a complete it's a shitstorm there. And I'm laughing my ass off.
There's rumors that the Leafs may be interested in Connor Garland because Kyle Dubas was at the Canucks game scouting.
The thing with Connor Garland is they have no choice but to buy him out. So you have a team like the Leafs come in and say, hey, listen, I'll give you, hey, I got a guy named Alex Kerfoot is from BC here. You know what I mean? That's where you can take advantage of a deal. I'm not saying that's the deal, but saying there's where a GM can come in, take advantage of the deal where Vancouver doesn't have to do that, right? Take a lesser hit on their cap. And the Leafs have a guy that they've probably coveted for a long time, before Garland went to Vancouver. So
he is not what the Leafs need.
No, but I'm saying he's a guy that Dubas has coveted for a while, right? I'm just trying to connect.
He's a fine player. He's not bad. He's fine. He's fine. Does he put you over the top? Probably not, but he's a fine piece.
Change of scenery, man. Sometimes that's all it takes.
I don't get it. And did anybody not watch Bedard last year and go, maybe we should kind of like start moving in on this? Maybe.
The kid is from Vancouver, man.
I don't get it.
How did they not do this from the start of the year? I don't get it. Like that's the number one thing I don't get at all.
I thought like I know sports isn't fixed, but sometimes these situations work out. For me, it was like Bedard's going to Phoenix, he's going to Montreal, or he's going to Vancouver. Had they slipped into those into that lottery, I think he's a guy. He instantly turns your team into a much better team. That's the one guy where you tank and the first round pick's going to mean something because he's going to jump into your lineup in a year or two.
But not even that, Rob. This is a deep draft. Like you go, like maybe top 5 is maybe not as good as Bedard, but it's a deep top 5. Take your shot, man. You get a good player in the top 5.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're thinking. You can predict what good smart people are going to do. You can't predict stupidity. It was the one thing I hated playing against dumb players because I didn't know what the hell they were going to do. It's like looking at this. I can't anticipate what they're going to do because they're just. I don't know. Would you guys as Leaf fans? Did you guys want Horvat? Was that?
I wouldn't.
Originally,
I wouldn't mind Horvat. Yeah,
but it was never-
why
What
not?
was-
He's a great player.
What was the price? What's the price you guys would have given up? Obviously
so
the
the
first.
equivalent to that would be something like, Frankie, what would it be? Obviously a first round pick.
Okay, so I did this comparison. So the Leafs really don't have a Beauvillier because he's like a 23, 24-year-old player making much money, right? So if you want to do the comparison, I would say that deal probably would have been something like Robertson,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Fraser Minton. I can't remember his name. Is Mint
Fraser Minton?
last year?
Yeah.
Fraser Minton, because he's a Kamloops player, so out west, but he's a first-round pick. He's a high prospect. So
Second round pick.
Fraser Minton, Robertson, and a first protected first probably for next year.
I agree. I just had a David Stern moment where I choked on my water there. Did you guys see that?
No, I missed it.
I might end up becoming.
I'll have to roll it back and watch it.
I might end up becoming a meme. Where he's drinking it.
Oh, I know. One of my favorites.
You know what? Speaking of that, though, now let's talk about the market, because what that Horvat deal just did, San Jose's sitting back like, thank you very much, because the Timo Meier deal, you can now add another piece on top of that, because there's a guy.
Why?
Who's younger, who's you're going to have control of, because he's an
what,
RFA.
a year younger, Frank? He's a year younger.
Doesn't matter. He's an
RFA.
RFA.
He's not a centerman.
He's an RFA. He's on pace for.
He's an RFA that you'll have to pay at least $10 million next year.
Doesn't matter. You can trade from him and flip him if you want, right?
I think it should be equivalent or somewhere close to it. I don't think it's something.
I think the quality
enormously
you
more
get on Meier is going to be better than what the Canucks got for Horvat last year at the deadline. Andrew Kopp, who's not even in the same breath as Bo Horvat, good player, but not even close, fetched a first, a second, and a fourth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year was a seller's market. It looks like right now this is more of a buyer's market, it seems. And that trade right there would indicate so. I think so. It's almost the All-Star break. I just want to get your opinion on something. Now that Horvat is traded, you were talking about stupidity and the way things are and the way the NHL runs things. Bo Horvat now is still going to be suiting up apparently for the Pacific Division in the All-Star game, even though he's now playing in the Metro. Does that make any sense?
Who
and
cares?
Also,
odd. That's really odd.
Matty Beniers is not able to participate in the All-Star game, so you'd figure that the NHL would continue with their status quo of having a member from each team being represented at the All-Star game. So they would replace Matty Beniers with maybe McCann from Seattle, so they still have a participant from the Kraken. Nope. No,
that's stupid. That's stupid.
They replaced them with, who was it again?
Chandler Stevenson.
That's right, from Vegas. So now Seattle doesn't have anybody representing their team.
That'll increase the ratings.
I think Buddy.
I bet you if you pull 20 people, how many would know Chandler Stevenson plays for the Vegas Golden Knights?
If Chandler Stevenson walked by me right now, I wouldn't know who he was.
And on the line, we have. Go ahead.
I think Shane Wright was still on the ballot at when it was eligible, and I saw some people like, we should vote for Shane Wright. Like, really? Like, what's wrong with people? What is wrong with some of you? It's like you don't want control. It's like, let's do the dumbest shit so that we never get to pick guys again, because we do this stupid shit. Like, put Johnny Scott, for as much as I loved it in the All-Star game, we do this stupid shit. Like, Shane Wright's on the ballot. Don't vote for him. He's in the freaking, or is it AHL, or do you go back to? He didn't go back to the O. He went back to the AHL.
He got traded.
Went back to the O. Like, let's put him in the AHL. What kind of idiots would do that?
Back to Joe's point.
Man,
if you remember,
you just do a lot of dumb things, man.
The John Scott thing. If you remember, And he said this, the NHL did what they could to make sure he didn't get to the All-Star game, but he won the vote. Even a trade. So Arizona traded him to Montreal, if you remember, and they sent him down just before the All-Star game. So they're wondering if he was going to have the AHL logo on the side of his jersey. He ended up having the NHL logo on his shirt because he was still voted in. But in Horvat's case, he has to be there. Like, the guy has earned his his spot on that team. But they're not playing for anything. They're not playing for anything substantial, like an MLB All-Star game where the division gets like a home ice advantage. It's just a game. So let the guy play in the Pacific and not have a logo on his shirt. Big friggin' deal. Like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? There's no consequence to it. I
have a question. Just because you can do something, why do you have to do something? Like, I saw people saying like you have to vote John Scott in. That's, you know what? Like, you know what it's like? It's
You're
like
still hung up on this John Scott thing.
It's driving
6
me
years
nuts
later
because I saw people saying, "Well, we got to vote Shane Wright in. You guys know what to do. We got to." It'd be like you when your kids get to 16, being like, "We're gonna let you pick whatever you want to eat for dinner night," and they say ice cream, and you go, "Well, that's it. We're taking that away because you're doing a dumb thing."
That might be one of the worst analogies you've
It's
ever
the
had.
exact analogy.
That
is the exact.
Does that even make sense? How is that a comparison?
Because you don't have to do that.
Oh shit!
I'm letting you pick.
You
dinner.
were almost,
you should.
with
You
that
have
comparison, you were almost as dumb as the people telling you to vote for John Scott or whoever it is they want to vote.
The NHL,
the worst analogy.
They never let people pick it. Now they're like, we're going to give the power to the fans, and the fans are like, we're going to eat ice cream for breakfast. It's so dumb. Pick the guys pick the people that deserve to be there. How do you? That's a perfect
and it
analogy.
shouldn't matter what team they're on, right?
No, it shouldn't. But put the best people there. If the NHL's picking and they want to say we're going to take the best player from each team, I go, okay. But if the fans are voting, pick who you want to be there, but don't pick the worst freaking player that you possibly can pick.
I agree with you. I think the best player should be there, but I always understood why they always had a representative from each team. It made sense to me. It's the All-Star game. All-Star games are for kids. Every fan that's a kid should be able to see their team represented at the All-Star game, I feel.
Yeah. Tell that to the 1991 and 92 All-Star games. We had 7 Pittsburgh Penguins there.
Sure. But
you know what I mean?
Those are great games, though.
So exactly.
I look at it like that. But then when you make this decision to not replace Beniers with another Seattle player, it's like you've been doing this. You've been going by this rule for the last however long I can remember. And now all of a sudden you're not going to have a Seattle player.
It's so stupid. It's hypocritical, to be honest with you, but
that's the NHL for you.
I am firmly on the stance that, the best players need to be there. Hell, the stars need to be there. I don't really give a shit if Patrick Kane has 5 goals. He's having a bad year this year. He's got to be there because they want to see him dangle through the pylons. You know what I mean? Like the kids want to see that, right? I don't want to. Hey, listen, congratulations to Chandler Stevenson, but I could care less about Chandler Stevenson. I want to see Ovechkin. I want to see Crosby. I want to see Malcolm. Like, those are the guys you want to see. And to go to a game, if you're going to spend that money, you want to see those guys, not the guys.
Spend that money to see an All-Star game.
But
I really want to see these guys. Like, we have so many stars. I really want to see them actually play like it's a real hockey game. It would be fantastic.
Never happening. It's never going to happen.
Why though? Like, why?
Because I'll tell you exactly why. If you have a player. For example, the Maple Leafs, and you're sending Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, I don't want Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner going balls to the wall and then one of them getting hurt at the All-Star game.
Why are you getting hurt?
Mean anything.
Why are you getting hurt?
Bobby needs to be entertained, and he wanted them to go full out.
Because I want to see like the 16 best players from the East play the 16 best players from the West.
They don't care. They don't.
Of course,
I think they should get rid of
the.
They should get rid of the 3-on-3 format, go back to 5-on-5. This way you can expand the rosters and get more guys in there that deserve to be there.
Yeah.
But then let them play properly. But
I can't believe we're talking about the All-Star game again. I hate the All-Star
game. Imagine tuning into a game where you have these legitimate stars playing like a real live hockey. Imagine like it'd be like a throwback, like to when they played back in the 90s when it was.
Imagine you came on this show and actually said an analogy that made sense for once. Imagine
that analogy.
I could imagine.
That ice
but I don't know
cream.
if that would happen.
Frank, do a poll right now. That
Okay.
was a perfect analogy.
Joe, make
Just-
that a reel. Make that a reel on Instagram. We want to get the comments about this. I am curious now.
It was a perfect analogy.
I'll
Anyway.
add my face, all this face.
You know, we talk about how much we love, we're so excited to see Team Canada in like 2024 or whatever to watch McDavid and Bedard and all these guys play together. Imagine all these stars playing in one game. I think it's a fantastic.
But you're comparing like the Olympics or like a World Cup to an All-Star game. It's not. One's an
Yes.
exhibition game and one's for like
Yeah, it
something
was an
meaningful. How
Yeah,
could
but-
you get the same thing? How could
But
you
it
get
was-
the same result? The
but it
same
was an
intensity?
exhibition
It's
game.
impossible.
Yeah, because this is, but because we have people like you that go, oh, they're gonna get hurt if they try hard. They try hard. 60
Nobody
games out of the year.
cares about the All-Star game except
They
you.
did 30 years ago when it was actual game. It was a fantastic game.
When?
Sure,
When
nobody
was it a
cares.
fantastic game? When?
Dude, watch like the 1990, like Frank was saying.
I'm gonna go watch the 1990
Go watch
All-Star
the
game right now.
91
Right after we're done,
All-Star
I'm gonna go
game.
watch it.
Go watch
no,
it.
no.
It was a real hockey game, not the shinny garbage we have to watch now. Yeah, I don't want to watch them float around and play shinny. Shit, I don't want to watch them play in these half these regular season games are like shinny.
I got to
But
be
like
honest with you. As soon as this is done, I'm actually going to go watch it because it's on YouTube. I just want to see the player introductions and the haircuts. For me, that's
Ally Frades
Tremendous.
from the 1990 is the best.
the skull.
The Skullet.
Yeah. And there were like fighters that made the friggin' team because they had like 60 points.
They
All
were
right,
good
boys.
games. Great
I'm
games.
done arguing with Bobby. I think we should probably get out of here. But before we do, have you guys watched the Harold Ballard documentary?
I have, yes. It wasn't as good as I thought. I got to be honest with you.
I didn't know as much.
They needed to dig more.
I thought it was pretty good. I liked a lot of the clips. I could go watch it again right now because some of the things he said were just wow.
Yeah, but they
Who produced it?
left stuff out.
Jason Priestley, 90210.
Yeah.
He's the narrator also.
Did the Leafs did the Leafs? They had no role in producing it.
I don't think so.
Don't think so, but many Leafs alumni were interviewed and were in it. So
You know, if they're like, I'm surprised they didn't go after them harder. Then I haven't seen it yet. I gotta watch
I
it. but
really expected more into the scandals and stuff.
if the team was there, they would have fluffed it a little bit. But if you have no association, like you guys know that like those are like, depending on who produces them, it really dictates.
They could have
Tone
went so
something.
deep because the kids wanted nothing to do with the guy, even when he passed away. Like they didn't like him, so like go hammer it, go ahead. Nothing.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah.
Where what platform's it on?
it's on CBC Gem.
Yeah,
GBC Gem. Who's got the time for that?
exactly.
I'd rather watch the 91 All-Star game. Joe, get
All
to-
right.
get this
Well, then
stuff.
on that note, let's go watch it. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. We're going to get out of here. Make sure Frank and I are going to get a Maple Leafs hot midway point podcast going for our Puckett Leafs podcast. Bobby, feel free to join us if you'd like as you eat your banana. And feel free to bring more dumb analogies onto that show. Well, it's more than welcome. Yes. All right, everybody. Have a great evening and take care. See you later.